What does it do, you two? Welcome back to another episode of Scotty Says. I am your host, and well, this episode is getting out a little later in the week than I would have liked, but you have to excuse me. You have to pardon me, but I've been feeling a little, you know what I mean? A little. And I guess really it's like a tummy thing. A little tummy thing. It's just feeling. And I'm not, I've been trying to figure out what could be the cause of my tummy feeling so sour. I mean, I thought, could it be, maybe it's something I ate, and I'm thinking, what have I eaten? It's out of the ordinary, and nothing. Well, actually, on Sunday, I did have a big ass plate of cold crow. I mean, it was cold, feathered, rigor mortis crow. A big plate of it. Ugh. And so I still haven't quite recovered from that meal. And I guess by now, as you know, my prediction, and as it turned out, I was the only lunatic in the entire United States of America who picked the Rams to upset them damn Cowboys in Dallas. And man, was I wrong, and I see why I was the only one who made such an outlandish prediction. And so, after having my cold plate of feathered crow, I have recovered sufficiently now enough to bring you the newest episode. Episode 84. And we in this episode are going to keep the autopsy brief. I'm not going to give you an in-depth game analysis like I normally would. I'm not going to do it because this was just stank pot. It was a repugnant brew that they cooked up out there in the Big D. And now I knew that Maddie from the D would go back to the D and leave haunted soil on the turf. You knew that was going to happen. So I anticipated that. But I just thought that McGenius and the fellas would have enough resolve, would have learned enough of the lessons that they might have a chance to go down there and shock the world. Oh, well, no. It was not a shock to the world. The only shock was how them damn Cowboys just drugged the Rams through the mud, just walloped them, molly-whopped them, just trounced them, belittled them. It was a beat down for the ages. And despite a lopsided score, the game never really was much in doubt beyond the early minutes of the first quarter. Despite all that, there is so much food for thought from what happened. And I have boiled it down really to 3 key moments, 3 critical turning points in the game, and they all happened in the first quarter. Bang, 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 bing, bing, bing. It was right out the gate. And so we'll look at that in the extremely abbreviated game analysis. But the thing that I have to stress is that I suspected last year, as I bought in and became a season ticket holder over there at the Haunted Palace in Inglewood, as I sat in and witnessed firsthand the garbage that the Super Bowl defending champions were putting out on the field, I knew something was wrong before the first game. And I've talked about this many times in previous episodes, how certain players are just discarded and how other players are elevated. And there looks to be a kind of a weirdness in the way that because, let's face it, Mr. McWonder is the king of the castle over there at the palace. And so you have to curry favor with the king over there, or you're going to have a hard way to go now, obviously. But the thing is, this is a hardline business. L's and dubs, dubs and L's. That's all it really comes down to. And if you want those dubs, coach, you've got to employ talent, not favoritism. And I'll explain what I mean. The concept that the Rams have gone into this season with is very perplexing to me. It looks to me as though they've said, let's get rid of talent and not worry about replenishing it. Let's get rid of a lot of talent, and with what we have in terms of rookies or undrafted free agents, McGenius, he loves the undrafted free agents who remind him of himself, you see. And it's very interesting because one of his very beloved early favorites, the Wolford, is now down in Tampa Bay. And once Matty from the D was injured and unable to return to the game, and you saw, and there it is again with Rippin. I'm going to call him Rippin' and Running. What is McWonder thinking with Rippin' and Running as your backup? Matty from the D is up there in years in terms of football age. He's taken a lot of punishment. Taken a lot in L.A. We saw he couldn't finish the season last season, and we saw the team ended up 5-12. And what did the Sneedster, Les Snead and McWonder and the brain trust over at the Palace, what did they learn from all of that disgusting football on display? 5-12. What did they learn? They learned double down. We'll double down. We'll get rid of even that amount of talent we had to go 5-12. Let's let Bobby Wagner go, B-Wags. Let him go. Let get rid of, and some of them they needed to let go. Buster Brown, that was a mistake. They never should have gotten rid of Bobby Trees. Not for Buster Brown. Not for the stone-handed one. Are you mad? But this is where we have found ourselves. And so, Mr. McWonder employs the likes of Trammell. when he had Brandon Powell. You had Brandon Powell. You see Mr. Powell balling out for the Vikes. You had him. You let him go. Why? You've got Trammell. You let Mr. Powell go so you could elevate Trammell. Another little McGenius protege. One of your faves. In the end, personalities and conflicts of that nature aside, dubs and L's and dubs. Do you want to win? You need talent. And if you're going to go into a season with a team that is bereft of talent, then you, as the play caller, must be disciplined and balanced and play smart football. And so it is the confluence of events, the evaporation, the willful negligence in terms of letting there be a talent drain at Rams Park, combined with this sort of hubris that I could just plug in Buster Brown, I can just plug in Jake Funk, I can just plug in Trammell, I can just plug in the Wolford, I can just plug in Stoney. Do you see the error in your thinking yet? You stumbled on something with Puka. Puka's the bomb. Okay. And I like the stew. We talked about it. The wide receiver stew. Puka tutu soup. It's great on the menu. Try it. Puka tutu soup. Yes. Fantastic. You stumbled onto that. Puka for Buster Brown. Great. But just below the surface, what happens if Puka gets nicked and has to step out just briefly? What happens if Tutu needs a breather just briefly? What happens if there's something wrong with Soup? Well, it's Trammell and Stoney. I've seen it with my own two eyes. I've seen you with Trammell and Stoney as your wideouts. Soup, Stoney, and Trammell. And I'm you're not going to win games this way. I hate to be the one to tell you. You're going to lose like that. Haven't you seen? I was so glad when I was able to be out of my contract over at the Palace. I was overjoyed because I didn't want to see any more stank up close. Something wrong. Stanky. So we've got these events, a confluence of events. You know, there's the hubris of we won the Super Bowl and I can just plug anybody in and I want to be around people that remind me of me and the guys I like and we're pals, you know. There's that, and then there's, honestly, I don't know what the strategy is with the Los Angeles Rams in terms of moving forward. If it were to tank and be, you know, in the running for Caleb Williams, fight on. If that's what this was, okay, I get it. It's the Caleb Williams sweepstakes. We're tanking for Caleb. I gotcha. But no, you want to win games, it seems like. They're trying to win. Okay, so it's not tanking. No tanking. We're trying to win. We're trying to win, but then we're giving games away with bonehead, bird brain. Or maybe it's just the fact that there's a condition that's bigger than all of that at play. been over all this ground before, my folks. And so I say all that to say is, Matty has been around the block. He's been beat down and beat up in every which way but loose. You know this. And despite this, you go into the season with Brett ripping and running. As your backup quarterback, knowing all this is what you've been asking for, and you've gotten it. And so now, you're so desperate for a backup quarterback, you called down to the wolf, your adopted son. You called down and said, Wolford, come on back home to L.A. with Papa McVay and come be my QB until, such time as Matty from the D can resume his play. And Wolford said, well, I'm good. I'll just stay down here in Tampa. No, thank you, Pop. I'm good. Got to break out on my own. Good luck to you. The Wolford wouldn't even come back. And I don't blame him. He probably assesses the situation from afar and looks at what's happening here in LA and where he is. He says, why would I do that? Either way, the man is bound to be in the back of somebody's ambulance somewhere sometime soon whenever they let him on the field. That's just a matter of time. So the fact that you even wanted to go back to him shows you have yet to learn the lessons. I've been here preaching from the outskirts of the city, but these messages go unheeded. I told him, burn that empty shotgun. I told him, stop it. There it is again. He's got it against Dallas. Hard-headed, McWonder. Hard-headed. So, what is the long-term strategy here? What are the Rams really up to? It's not to be bad enough to get a great draft pick, and it's not to be good enough to win. They made no moves in free agency. They have no interest. They let I don't blame them for letting ashes go. I don't blame them. But they didn't seem to make much effort at replenishing the talent they lost. We lost B-Wags. Oh, we'll plug in somebody. There's someone who'll do it. You can't replace Bobby Wagner with someone who'll do it. And so these things are coming back to bite now. And I asked the question early on when the Rams upset Seattle in Seattle. And I asked the question then, is it a mirage? Are we seeing water, an oasis on the horizon, or is it dirt vapor? And I think we learned more about the Rams on Sunday in Dallas than we learned about them damn Cowboys, because I still don't believe in them damn Cowboys, not one little bit. And I'll bet the Fly Eagles Fly will run all over them on Sunday. But that's another subject for another time. I think more than anything we learned, and maybe the Rams are what we thought they were. And despite the dirt vapor in week 1 and, a game of valiant effort with blunders against Father Shanahan and the bullies from the Bay in week 2, have you, just as an aside, have you noticed the bullies from the Bay been getting punched in the nose? Boy, there's one thing a bully does not like is when you get them real good a shot in the beak. Like, I didn't know you were going to, bust my beak like that. Thank you. Good day. We'll just, it's only week 6. We'll be over here. Does anyone have a towel? Probably Father Shanahan is thinking, man, why do we have to wait so long to play LA? I need McWonder to fatten up on. McWonder is balm for my wounds. So, okay. I think my point has been made. You had Bryce Perkins, Mr. McWonder, but you didn't appreciate him. You didn't even really want to let him throw the ball. You wanted to make him a running back. Didn't believe in him. But you believe in the ambulance rider. He is what you call an ambulance rider. That's a rider. The wolf. You believe in the wolf, the rider, but they put him in an ambulance down in Tampa Bay. I mentioned that earlier this year. You believe in that. You believe in ripping and running? Oh, McWonder. You believe in that. But you didn't believe in Bryce Perkins, did you? Not worth a damn, did you? And let me say right here, I will give Mr. McWonder some grief. Now, I do it. But I don't necessarily hold Mr. McWonder completely responsible for the debacle in Dallas. It's an organizational thing now. Okay? And the L is a big fat L that stretches across the organization from the front office to the coaching staff, the players. It was just disgusting. And every now and then they'll have in the NFL a team, a decent team, a good team will have a clunker and look bad. You saw what Arizona did to Dallas. Matter of fact, you saw what San Francisco did to Dallas. Seattle hasn't played them yet. Seattle probably put a number on Dallas. Only the Rams get mauled and manhandled by them damn Cowboys. Oh, the shame of it. Oh, the humanity of it. I tell you what, it got my tummy feeling a little, still, all these days later. It was disgusting. I give the coach grief, I do. But I want to say to him now, congratulations on the birth of your son, Coach McGenius. Congratulations on a healthy birth, and in addition to your family and all the well wishes from this corner of cyberspace. Okay? But man, what are you doing? What's going on? Really, what is going on? And so all I'm really saying is that Matty is old, okay, in football terms, and oft injured. He's been beat down, pummeled, okay, trampled on over the years. He's taken a beating. And if you think you can drop Matty from the D back 50 times a game, passing the ball you have... They're adequate. It's an adequate average or so offensive line. They're not bad, but behind that offensive line there tends to be, a little O-line shuffle going on each game. You're gonna get the man on the injured list. That's where he's gonna end up, in the protocol. Okay? Or with a thumb, a joint out of whack, something. And you didn't see that coming? You thought ripping was your answer? Your theory, your strategy is go find the wolf? McGenius is suggesting that Matty from the D could conceivably play, that the Rams are not going to put him on the injured list, and that it'll be a game time decision. So this could be gamesmanship on the part of McGenius, trying to play with the mind of LeFleur over in Green Bay, the next opponent, which now that game doesn't look nearly so secure in terms of a victory. Who knows if the Rams start ripping and running in Green Bay, they're going to lose that one too. And so those early games that you could have won, you squandered. And then by attrition, you start to see that the Rams have no depth. They have nothing beneath the surface. The emperor has no clothes at the palace. Put some clothes on, sir. And so now the Rams are being exposed, and I'm afraid that it is highly unlikely that they will recover. Probably more likely 5-12 as defending Super Bowl champions. They'll be lucky to get to 7-10 at this pace with this scenario. And I heard McGee. He said in his weekly TV show that, well, this was an outlier performance and there's still a lot of football left to be played. And that's true. Maybe there is a lot left, but not as much as you would suggest. Outlier? Well, it depends on how you look at it, because every game there seems to be significant blunders being made. So I don't know about outlier. I mean, maybe to get stomped out like that, yeah, I'll give you that. But under the bright lights, you're playing them damn Cowboys and all the hoopla, and you let them pummel you that way. So the coach admitted this. He said he knew that he let some early games get away, that they had a small margin for error. Who's been saying that, though? You heard it here. Episode after episode. And so, at this point, my folks, let's just get right into the abbreviated game analysis. Let's just get right to it. The only inactive of note, Rob Havenstein. Now, I say some Stein because I put emphasis on it, because I believe I've been saying Havenstein, and I don't think it's Havenstein, it's Havenstein, like, Frankenstein. It's not Frankenstein. But I do wonder, as a strange aside, how do you know when you see it written whether it's Stein or Steen? Does anyone have a tip? Leave me a comment and let me know if you know. Because I worked once before for a company. The owner of the company, well, the way he spelled his name, I met him once and I said, "Pleasure to meet you, Mr. Wiener." But he didn't, but someone else quickly told me it's Weiner, you see. I said, "Oh, I saw it on the literature. I thought it was Wiener." I don't know when you, Frankenstein, when is it which? I digress. I knew a dude once who used to call them Vienna sausages. I was like, come on, man, Anyway, maybe it is Vienna, which, how do you know? I deeply digress. Rob Havenstein, unavailable, would not suit up, inactive. And so, the Rams' offensive line would be at left tackle, Alaric Jackson, at left guard, Avila, at center, Shelton, at right guard, Dotson, and at right tackle, replacing Havenstein, at right tackle, Note Go Boom is back. Note Go Boom back in the lineup. But Dallas would start out on offense. And I just want to point out right here that there were, in my estimation, 3 key moments, 3 critical turning points. And I'm going to illuminate them here for you in the brief game analysis. Let's get right to it. Dallas. First possession of the game, an empty shotgun. Empty shotgun. I'm like, oh, wow. Well, Mike McCarthy is pulling a McWonder on McWonder. And the first play of the game got a McWonder-like result. A sack. Down goes Dak. Dak grazing on that Jerry World turf. Empty gun. Wasn't looking too productive for them damn Cowboys. And that set them up 2nd and long. 2nd and 15. Now, after a run, it's 3rd and 11. 3rd and 11. Dak sack. Dak grazing again on Jerry World turf. Just devouring the grass. And 3 and out. And that's the way you start the game for the Rams and the defense. And wait a minute. What? The zebras again. The refs. Now, I don't like harping on the refs, but when it starts to be a pattern, you can't help but to notice it and to speak on it. Now, that Pittsburgh 4th and 1, that was atrocious. They hosed the Rams in the Haunted Palace, the Rams house, against the Steelers. The refs hosed them, did not give them an opportunity to vie for a comeback in the final seconds of the game with that atrocious call, which no one could address or reverse. Okay. The next week, now, right out the gate, you're down there in Dallas. This is, it's them damn Cowboys. Everybody's watching. You're supposed to have a great ref squad on the game. Right out the gate, the first sequence, a phantom pass interference call on Lake, I believe. But when they showed the replays over and over, there was nothing there. There was nothing there. Gives them a first down. That reprieve, that was the first critical moment. That altered the direction of the game. If Dallas goes 3 and out there, they're kicking to the Rams. The Rams take over with the ball. No score. That's a whole different ball game. Critical turning point 1. All right, Dallas keeps the ball. And despite a sack, a Dak sack grazing, despite this, Dallas would begin to get some momentum, would convert on a 3rd and long drive, and ultimately pay that gifted drive off with a touchdown. 7-0 Dallas. 7-0 Dallas. And the Rams getting their first offensive possession. So the Rams now, behind that aforementioned offensive line, would take over for their first possession. You've got Darrell Henderson back from the sofa in the Rams backfield at tailback. You've got Higbee at tight end, and that wide receiver stew that I like, Puka Tutu soup. You got to have it when you order on the menu. You need Puka Tutu soup. And so, of course, in the shotgun, actually the pistol for the first play of the game, Matty from the D. Now, many people thought that the D was for Detroit, but the D, well, actually the D originally is Dallas, because that's where he really was raised. And from Dallas, he then migrated and ultimately ended up in Detroit. And so Matty from the D has 2 Ds that he calls home. His boyhood home, Dallas, and his professional original professional home, Detroit, Matty from the D. And you know when Matty from the D plays at either Dallas or Detroit, you know he's going to soil the turf with a haunted gift. Now, that's just the way that has to be. Okay, don't ask any questions about that. Right, the poltergeist travels. So you know that going in. Okay, all right. Rams take over on offense. So Matty from the D would start at QB in the pistol. As a matter of fact, he would start, but spoiler alert, he would not finish. So, right out the gate, McGee is running. Henderson, nice, 5 yards. Here we go. Second play, screen pass to Henderson, 17 more. Great. Rams moving the sticks. Now, next play, Matty, a dart to Higbee, who on the tackle, ball comes out. Is it down? Was it incomplete? It's ruled complete and down by contact, no fumble. And this was the proper call. The Rams rush up. They rush up and run a play when they didn't have to, but they were trying to make sure it wasn't overturned. Okay, that burns a play. Despite that, the drive continues and everything is looking lovely. Now, 3rd and 11. Matty with a dime to Puka. Puka, the NFL's leading receiver as a rookie. The sensation. 24 more big yards. First down. The Rams well in the red zone. And then, now, end around call. 2-2. Nothing. So, 2nd and 10. And I get that little gulp in my throat. Because what do I see, my folks? What do I see? But Matty is in the empty shotgun. And I'm like, oh no, this is where it is, isn't it? Because I know it's going to come. I'm just guessing with myself. Where will it be? At what juncture in the game? What stage? What play? When will it happen? Will it happen more than once? And I saw McGee is an empty gun now. 2nd and 10, and he's in the red zone, and he's an empty gun. And I'm like, here it is. This is where it's about to happen, isn't it? But no, my folks, this play was critical. This play was crucial, but not because this would be a haunted gift. No, this was turning point number 2 on this empty gun play. 2nd and 10 from the Dallas 17-yard line. Matty fires a dart for Soup, who is clearly held, interfered with. He's turned. He completely alters his course. Pass falls incomplete. Soup stays on the ground on his knees looking around. Everybody is looking around because we just saw you throw a horribly ticky-tack PI call to keep the Cowboys from punting. We just saw you do it, Zebras. So now a blatant pass interference call on Soup of all people. Soup was gonna pull that one in for a first down and more. And where is the laundry? Where is the yellow flag? There was none. Refs blow it again. Wow, holes in the Rams. And so now that's two ref interventions that have cost the Rams. Blunders by the officials. This on the heels of the 4th and 1 blunder against the Steelers the week before. So in just the span of the 4th quarter against the Steelers and the 1st quarter against the Cowboys, 3 significant officiating blunders costed the team. Stop it, Zebras. Get it together. That was turning point 2. Because now think about it, my folks. it would have been 0-0, the Rams driving, without that phantom interference call to prolong the Dallas drive. The Rams would have the ball driving with no score. And without that awful no call, which left Soup on the ground looking around, that you could easily see that cost the Rams, who were marching, a touchdown. So you could say that's a 14-point swing right there. Take away 7 from Dallas, add 7 to the Rams. It's 7-0 Rams instead of what would become 7-3, because who is the real Brett Maher is no more. Who is a question that will remain unanswered. The only thing we can speculate now is who was the real Brett Maher. Whoever he was, he will be that person elsewhere, because he gone. And so welcome Lucas Haverisk. I hope I'm not butchering the name. You might be like it's Haverisk. Lucas Haverisk, rookie kicker who nails his first effort. 7-3 Dallas. And the Rams are kicking the ball off. And now here we are, just in time for the final turning point. Turning point number 3. After Dallas drives the ball into field goal range, the Rams defense stiffens, holds them to 3. It's only a 10-3 game. It's a 10-3 ball game. It's the end of the first quarter. There's 43 seconds left in the first quarter. It's a 10-3 game. So there's no need for any type of panic or stress. Just as I have been preaching now, these many episodes, years now, discipline, patience, run the ball, balance. What do we get from McWonder? Any of those things? No, Cerezy. No. What we get, 43 seconds left in the first quarter. It's 10-3 Dallas. Rams with the ball. And McWonder has Matty in the shotgun. And I'll admit it was a shotgun with running back protection, but he's clearly throwing in the gun because, well, I'm sure Mike McCarthy has read Father Shanahan's book. He knows about McWonder. He knows that when McWonder goes down 3 or 7 or more, he panics. Even if it's the first quarter, you see. He feels like I better chuck. He doesn't seem to have the spatial awareness to understand that there's still 3 quarters of football left. No, he wants to get it all back right away. And so, in the shotgun, Matty from the D, scanning the line. He's sensing pressure. Dallas is showing blitz. And I'm thinking, oh no, I hope this isn't what I think it is. And Dallas backs out of the blitz. They rush 4, but wait, they rush 2 on a delayed blitz, and Matty senses the pressure, throws an awful pass behind Soup. No. Poltergeist strike. To the house. Big six. Touchdown. Dallas. Oh, Matty has soiled the turf at home in Dallas. And we knew it was coming. And there it is. There it is. You asked for it. You got it. And Dallas would not look back. They would frolic and dance and party their way to a 33-3 lead by the time we got to the third quarter. En route to an easy coasting victory. A laugher. Ha 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 ha. At the Rams' expense. And so that was turning point 3. McGenius, Matty, and the haunted deed is done. And them damn Cowboys would never look back. The momentum was irreversible, my folks, at this point. Those 3 blunders. 2 by the refs. 1 by McWonder and his haunted quarterback. And there was no coming back. And then, of course, into the third quarter, why? More punishment. Matty's throwing and they're coming and he hits his thumb on one of the defenders' helmets and he can't finish the game. And in comes ripping and running, who looks just atrocious. This is your backup quarterback. He looks so bad, you had to call your prodigal son, Wolford, down in Tampa Bay. Would you come home, son? He said, Pop, leave me be. I'm good now. I'm becoming a big wolf down here. They leave me alone with the clipboard. They don't cause me to ride in ambulances down here. Well, he did take one ride earlier this year in the preseason. And so this is where it is, my folks. And so I suspect now that the Rams are who we thought they were when the season first began. And the stench has returned at the haunted palace in SoFi, and the questions are all back. What is the Sneedster doing? What is McWonder doing? Why can't an exorcist help Matty? You know, he is second all time in the NFL in pick sixes. All time in the NFL in pick sixes, only behind Sleazy Brett. And so I'm afraid it does not look good for the future. Next up, Green Bay. But I'm out of the prediction business when it comes to the Rams, at least for the time being. All I'll say in closing is, what I need from you, what I need you to do is throw me one of these. Throw me one now. Please, like the video. Subscribe if you haven't already. Feel free to leave me a comment. Let me know what you're thinking. And I'll be here to address the team and the situation after the Packer game as the Rams head into the bye. And then we'll see from there how things proceed. But until the next time, which won't be too long from this time, Scotty says, one love.